Nigerians, and welcome once again to Active Citizens Heroes series. How are you doing this evening? So for 6 episodes now, we have asked difficult questions, which is, who owns the polling units? Do you think that one man can rig 176,846 polling units? Why do elections fail? Are Nigerians waiting for P2B or Atiku or even Tinubu to save democracy? Now, if INEC fails, do you think that ordinary citizens' polling unit results are admissible in court? And perhaps our most controversial question so far, if your polling unit was rigged, can you prove it? But tonight we ask what may be the most important question in this entire series, which is, if the polling unit belongs to the people, who will organize the people to protect their votes? And every 4 years, politicians ask for your votes. They hold rallies, they print posters, they spend billions on campaigns. They even ask citizens to come out and vote. But after the voting process, who helps citizens protect their votes? Who organizes ordinary citizens or ordinary Nigerians at the polling unit? Who trains the ordinary citizens? Who do you think teaches them how to document results? Who teaches them how to preserve evidence? Who helps them understand that democracy does not end after casting a ballot? And if elections eventually end up in court, who provides the evidence? Who preserves the polling unit records? Who documents what happens? Who becomes the witnesses? Could it be that one of the greatest weaknesses of Nigerian democracy is not simply election rigging, but the failure to organize ordinary citizens at the polling unit level? Now, if the polling unit belongs to the people and politicians are ultimately the beneficiaries of polling unit results, do our political elites also have a responsibility to organize citizens to protect those votes? Or are ordinary Nigerians expected to defend democracy alone? So tonight, we'll be asking the question, if the polling unit belongs to the people, who will organize the people to protect their votes? And joining me once again in the studio is the analyst and advocate of the Active Citizens Heroes series, Mr. Chidi Lucky Kanu. Good evening, sir. How are you doing this evening, sir?
Good evening, former. Good evening, Nigerians.
Yes.
And thank you for having me. I believe this is perhaps the most important conversation we are going to have so far, former, because for 6 episodes, like you said, we have established one simple fact, that the polling unit belongs to the people. And again, we are also established the fact that ownership without organization, it weakens, it is weakness for Nigerians. And of course, we also looked at the fact that rights without structure are difficult to protect. And we also talked about citizens without coordination, that they are vulnerable when they are without coordination. The missing link that we see in Nigerian democracy is actually organization. We have been in all of this. The average Nigerian voter is just left alone. I mean, he votes alone, he complains alone, and they go to court. Even emotionally, we talk about the courts emotionally, and we all argue on social media, but we are not organized. Let's be frank. Democracy requires organization, and organization requires leadership. So, I believe that the elite should take their own responsibility.
So you're trying to say now that the elite have a responsibility?
What I'm saying here is an absolute fact, if you ask me, former. I want to use this opportunity, former, to challenge the Nigerians' political elites tonight. And why am I saying so? Because in every governorship candidate right now exists, as it were. Every senator every House of Representatives candidate, every House of Assembly candidate, they have gotten their ticket. So ultimately, they depend on what happens at the polling unit. So if disputes arise, they need polling unit evidence that the Nigerian masses are supposed to bring. They need the Form EC8A, they need witnesses, they need videos, they need documentation, they need people who can testify in court for them. Yet, we have no organized structure at the polling unit level. Why is it that politicians spend billions, like you mentioned earlier, in their rallies, billboards, social media campaigns, but invest so little in organizing citizens to protect democratic evidence? That's the question we should be asking ourselves. This is the question Nigerians should be asking all around as we continue on this process. Because if the political elites need polling unit evidence during litigation, they also have a responsibility to help build polling unit accountability structures in place. Democracy cannot be outsourced to ordinary citizens alone. I've mentioned that in different episodes where we have. So I will challenge the politicians, Ifeoma, this very evening, that they should be the ones to organize, because whatever happens at the polling unit, it all ultimately goes back to them. They are the beneficiaries at the end of the day. Because when they go to the National Assembly, they might not even remember their constituents. You understand? Yeah. So basically, whatever comes from the polling unit is what they are looking at. You get my point? Yeah. So I believe that Nigerians should focus more on the political elites, people who have secured their candidacy from their political parties as nominees for their positions, to come out and help their constituents, because each constituent is more like a community, and the polling unit we are talking about is also a community based. So in a constituency, we have these aspirants. They are no longer aspirants, they are candidates, by the way. So if they are able to organize, they are going to have a peaceful polling unit. They are going to have a peaceful evidence taken from that polling unit. It will even reduce litigation in court, because the evidence is obviously staring everybody in the eyes that this is the person who has won it, and it is not about it is candidate A that came and bulldozers everybody, because these people are neutral, not partisan, that will be there. I'm talking about the 20 heroes.
All right. Well, all right. We'll still come back to that 20 heroes now. But we've seen instances where politicians during election, they say that the election was rigged, because a lot of people will say that it didn't go in their favor. That is why we see a lot of them coming out to complain. And the question that a lot of people ask them is, why is it that you didn't set or organize some set of people to protect the ballot or the voting process, the election and the electioneering process? So I just want to ask the question, if not the politicians alone protecting or sending people, organizing people to protect the vote, then who do you think should organize the people?
If a good question. What I feel for Nigerians is that everybody has a role. The political elites, the corporate Nigerian entities, the civil society, the professional associations, religious organizations, traditional institutions, universities, and even the media that we are already here. All of these institutions shape public behavior. All of them influences the masses. All of them can contribute towards building a stronger democratic culture. The people cannot simply be mobilized every 4 years to vote and then abandoned. Citizens must be organized before, during, and after elections. That is how democracies mature. And I will keep talking about the solution. The solution is simply for the people to get organized. But self-organization takes a longer time. But when people see people they trust and people they believe in coming out to talk about organizing them, they will now take it upon themselves to now put themselves together.
All right, now let's go back to when you said 20 people or 20 heroes per polling unit. You have repeatedly, proposed the polling unit heroes program, and I would love Nigerians to know how this will solve the problem in elections.
Well, this is precisely why we are proposing the one polling unit 20 heroes, and I keep talking about it every day. It will bring one stronger democracy. Now, imagine 20 organized citizens at every polling unit, 20 people trained in voter education, 20 people trained in documentation, 20 people trained in evidence preservation, 20 people trained in peace building, 20 people trained in lawful civic participation, 20 people acting as a democratic support system for their various communities. No active citizen stands alone, because one person can be intimidated. One person can forget what happened. One person can lose records. But 20 organized citizens becoming a living archive of democratic truth. That is what I see. They become the democratic memory of their community, of that very particular polling unit. That is the solution.
Well,
and
right.
If I keep going back to the fact that it is not, it's an institutional thing. It is not just something that we will say that it's one person we do. It is not just the politicians like the elites, but I'm saying that they should take the lead, because the political elite, they can provide the leadership structures that are required by providing logistics and a whole lot of things that is needed for these 20 people that I'm talking about. And when they take it upon themselves to support it, it's more like what they do in peace accord, signing peace accord that governors do. I think the presidents also do signing of peace accord, that the statesmen, elderly statesmen, put them together to sign a peace accord. So at this very level we are talking about a general peace accord for all the candidates at certain polling units at their constituency level, at their district level for senators, at the state level for governorship candidates, agreeing, okay, let's support the masses to protect the votes. So at the end of the voting, the masses have evidence even to provide to us, because some people will say, oh, why not depend on the party agents? But party agents have failed in the past. We have all seen it. It doesn't work. Let me be very clear.
All right.
It may have worked for some people, but in a recent time, I have not seen any party who have said that all their Form EC8As were available to them because their party agents brought them. Right now, I believe that 20 people can do more than one person who is just a party agent.
All right, 20 people will do more than what one person will do. And what Mr. Kanu is basically saying is that it is a collective effort and not a one-man's job. But before we continue this conversation, I would love us to go on a short break. When we come back, more conversations will follow through.
They want to make sure they suppress others from voting.
Every election, a nation makes a choice. Every vote carries a voice. Every polling unit tells a story. But democracy does not belong to Nigerians. It does not belong to government. It belongs to the people. It belongs to the teacher, it belongs to the trader, it belongs to the student, the farmer, the artisan, the ordinary citizen. Together, the guardians of democracy. Now, across more than 176,000 polling units, a new movement is emerging. A movement built on truth, built on transparency, built on accountability, built on peaceful citizen participation. It is not violence, it is not intimidation, it is not division, but verification, documentation, participation, and most importantly, trust. Now imagine every polling unit protected by informed citizens. Imagine every result independently verified. Imagine a stronger democracy. Imagine a better Nigeria. Protecting democracy, verifying results, empowering citizens. This is Active Citizens Award 2027, because every vote must count. All right, you're welcome once again to the Active Citizens Hero series, where we're featuring Mr. Chidi Lokikano, who is an advocate. Now, tonight we're continuing with a question, Mr. Chidi Kano. What is your message to Nigerians, political and corporate elites?
Oh, okay. I expect you want me to talk to Nigerians. Well, my message to Nigerians and the corporate elite will be very simple. If you expect citizens to vote for you, please help them to organize themselves. If you expect citizens to defend democracy, help to train them. If you expect polling unit evidence during litigation, help preserve it. If democracy belongs to the people, and then building the democratic infrastructure is also responsibility of leadership, which you people are all in. The future of Nigerian democracy cannot depend on isolated individuals. It requires organized communities. It requires active citizens. It also requires leadership at the very top. It requires partnership, and it requires a new structure where ordinary Nigerians are empowered to become custodians of democratic truths. So, what I am looking at is a situation where the people, excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a situation where all the candidates who had come out have succeeded from their various primaries and who are now representing their various parties, to look at the point where the people should present them with evidence at every polling unit. Ultimately, they are the beneficiaries of this very evidence that we are talking about. Nigerians are also beneficiaries, because I don't want that emotional blackmail that do happen with all of us after the process. If we are able to gather this information, ultimately whoever wins at each polling unit will have access to this very information. It will benefit them more, because one, it will less litigation when you clearly know that 20 people independently who acted as peace ambassadors at the polling unit level have presented the live result before INEC even issues theirs. They have brought the result to show you that you did win or you did lose. You will say, oh, that saves me like 10 million or 20 million of engaging a senior advocate of Nigeria to go to court to start sourcing for this evidence, because usually this evidence is not there except you go to INEC to ask for INEC. And Nigerians believe that INEC is not giving them the correct result. So, and that's why we are saying Nigerians should be able to get their own results. So, all of them, both the politicians and the Nigerian citizens, they have their own responsibility. The responsibility of the people is for them to come together and make sure that each polling unit has their heroes in place, 20 heroes, as I propose. And for that to happen, there is going to be logistical challenges, even when they are locally in their different polling units. Because those people are peace ambassadors. They have to be trained. So that's why I'm talking about logistics being involved. And we at Artisans Foundation, at this very point, are making sure we are educating people so that we'll make sure that in every polling unit across Nigeria, not just in one, but across Nigeria, including the FCT, that everybody learns what it takes. And we don't have to go to Abuja to do that. It's something we do online through put them through the electoral act. What should be done, what should not be done, how to get the information from the BVAS machine, how many people were accredited, and post that in directly on a citizen-led platform where every citizen will be seeing the numbers coming in, by the way, very well verified by different people at that same polling unit. And when Nigerians have done that, they will now vis-a-vis compare that with what will come out from the INEC. That is when responsibly Nigerians can say that INEC has failed them because INEC gave them a different result from what they have. And they can now present that same evidence to the candidates who need it to go to court and may become a witness to the very discussions going on, the conversation that will be going on in court. So the litigation, it will help reduce litigation in the Nigerian electoral system.
I think I am really engulfed in, you know, the entire thing you're saying, because it carries a lot of weight. I wish Nigerians could actually buy into this, because I mean, we complain every single time that there is election malpractices and all whatnot, that the politicians are not protecting their votes, when I mean, we are the ones that are supposed to be protecting our votes. And it's more like this new scheme now is even a bid to help the elites, the politicians too, people that are disgruntled that their vote did not count, or rather they won an election and it wasn't accredited, or the INEC portal did not give them the credit.
On the person you trust, that you send to the polling unit, that the person sold you out.
Exactly. So this is more like, for me, a very big plan, and I hope Nigerians will buy into it. And Nigerians, you have heard clearly from Mr. Chidi Lucky Kanu. Perhaps the question is no longer who owns the polling unit. Perhaps the bigger question we should be asking ourselves is, if the polling unit belongs to the people, who will organize the people to protect their votes? Because democracy does not protect itself. I tell you, my people, vote does not protect themselves. Evidence does not preserve itself. People must organize. Communities have to prepare, leaders must provide direction, and citizens must become active participants in protecting their democracy. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Mr. Chidi Lucky Kanu. Thank you so much for joining, and to every citizens that joined this conversation this evening, thank you so much. If you haven't liked, commented, and shared or subscribed to our channel, the time is now. Ensure that you hit the follow button on all our platforms, and you can visit our website at www.activecitizensmedia.com. do all those good stuff. We'll see you, we'll love you, I appreciate you. My name is once again Ifeoma Oji, and I did this alongside Mr. Chidi Lucky Kanu, and this is Active Citizens Hero Series. Until next time, remember, one polling unit, 20 heroes, one stronger democracy. Ngwano bye, my people, till next week.
They want to make sure they suppress others from voting.
Every election, a nation makes a choice. Every vote carries a voice. Every polling unit tells a story. But democracy does not belong to Nigerians. It does not belong to government. It belongs to the people. It belongs to the teacher, it belongs to the trader, it belongs to the student, the farmer, the artisan, the ordinary citizen. Together, the guardians of democracy. Now, across more than 176,000 polling units, a new movement is emerging. A movement built on truth, built on transparency, built on accountability, built on peaceful citizen participation. It is not violence, it is not intimidation, it is not division, but verification, documentation, participation, and most importantly, trust. Now imagine every polling unit protected by informed citizens. Imagine every result independently verified. Imagine a stronger democracy. Imagine a better Nigeria. Protecting democracy, verifying results, empowering citizens. This is Active Citizens Award 2027, because every vote must count.